Many of you participated in a YouTube survey I just conducted on how you put together your retirement plan. I gave you a few options. Do you use a financial advisor with assets under management? I use a financial advisor that I pay an hourly fee to or some fixed dollar amount. Number three, I make my own plan using spreadsheets, something like Excel. Number four, I use a comprehensive retirement software, something like New Retirement. And number five is I use a withdrawal strategy, something like 4% rule, and I invest my own money, and that's just what I do. Hey, folks, I actually have great concern with the results of this survey. 23% using financial advisor. Hey, that's okay. They have, they use comprehensive software. They got a lot of experience, have a lot of ideas. This is a very expensive route, but it's a good route for many folks. Actually, that 23% doesn't concern me. 1 out of 4. This group, of viewers here tends to be more of the do-it-yourselfers. So I don't get that excited about that number. To be honest with you, I don't think that's good or bad. What 2% access a financial advisor, pay them a fee. Actually, that number is about where I thought it would be with this audience. The scary numbers are down here. 29% of people are using spreadsheets or some sort of analysis to do their own financial planning. Folks, I'm an engineer. I'm used to working with numbers. I've been in plant management roles, budgets, forecasting. Believe me, I've got a lot of experience in this area. I'm very comfortable working with spreadsheets and doing analysis. But there's a lot of holes in this, a lot of assumptions I'm going to talk about here in a second. 10% use a comprehensive software to supplement what they're doing. That number, this is what I do, and that number needs to be a lot bigger for you folks out there, and I'm going to explain why. And 36% use the 4% rule or something like that, 4%, 3.5%, whatever. It's just a number, okay? So what really concerns me is this 54%. I think that's what that is. No, actually, so that's... I'm sorry to do math here in my head. 30, that's 65%, okay? 65% really are going their own on spreadsheets or just doing some sort of withdrawal strategy. The 65%, that's huge. That's a huge number, and here are the traps. I lined them in green down here. Hopefully you can read that pretty well. Taxes, and this is kind of a U.S. thing, but I'm sure this is for the software package that I use. There's not a non-U.S. option, but your biggest expense most likely in retirement is going to be taxes, okay? And these you just put in some flat rate for taxes unless you're really good with spreadsheets. You're not managing different tax brackets for all the different scenarios that could happen. I challenge you if you're doing good tax projection there. Where if you use a software package, it'll come in and say, hey, I recommend these Roth conversions. I recommend taking money from this account versus that account in different phases of your life and when your expenses change. There's so many different scenarios. There's just no way it would be extremely difficult to model all that. Extremely difficult to do that in a spreadsheet. And there's probably, of this 29%, there's probably maybe 1% of the people that can do that. So if you're just using a simple spreadsheet saying, hey, I'm going to get 7% return on these assets, I'm going to get 5% returns on these assets, I'm going to pull out 4%, you're grossly misunderstanding and mismanaging, I'll go on and say that, your taxes. You are not managing your taxes to pay the fair amount, but to pay the lowest amount and withdraw from different accounts and make moves like Roth conversions to manage that, when to take Social Security. IRMA, that's an acronym. I can't remember what it stands for, but those are your Medicare premiums, okay? So based on your income, from sources other than Roth or an after-tax account. So any income you have, like from a traditional IRA or Social Security, those affect your IRMA. So your Medicare premiums can go up dramatically. I think it's like 3x. Your premiums can go up. So how do you manage IRMA? And that goes back 2 previous years. I believe it's 2 previous years. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but it's IRMA is a big deal, and how much you're going to be paying for your health care in the United States after the age of 65, and managing that based on your income is a huge deal, huge deal. Social Security, when to take Social Security? You take it at 62, full retirement age, 67 for me, take it at 70. When does it make sense to take that based on all of your income projections and the taxes that you could be paying? I don't know how you're managing that with spreadsheets well, really, with spreadsheets and using just a fixed withdrawal rate, you're not managing that. My assumption, I'm not sure how you would do that. The last one, and I'll expand on this one a little bit, return assumptions. A lot of people in these spreadsheets that they're using, they're probably using spreadsheets down here too, is they're just putting in a fixed rate of return. Hey, I'm going to put 6% in there. I'm going to put 7% in there and fixed. And if I have some bonds, I'm going to put a fixed 3% in there, some number. That a sequence of return risk is a big deal. And there's a big difference between average returns and compound annual growth rate, CAGR returns. And you need to understand that. You need to understand the variability that can happen. For example, especially early in your retirement, when you're pulling money out in a down market, say the market goes down 20% and then you pull 4% off of that, that's a big deal. That reduces your probability of success dramatically than if you had high returns at the beginning. And you need to understand how a sequence of returns can mislead you when you're thinking about average returns. So I'm going to continue in a second. So I'm looking at compound annual growth rate versus average returns. Say we started out with $100,000, and in year one, we had a negative 50% return, and in year two, we had a plus 50% return. The average return is zero, minus 50, plus 50. Average return is zero, but the compound annual growth rate is minus 13.4%. So you got to know what you're talking about here. You can't just use averages to detect, how your account is doing. Look at your account. Your account is actually down to $75,000 into this scenario. So that 100,000 went to 75. This is a much better indicator that, hey, you went down, basically like 13.4% in year one and 13.4% in year two, despite what these numbers say. So that's the number to look at. You got to understand that. Also, where it gets to be a big concern in just pulling out a fixed percent, say 4%, is when your market's down 50%, and then you're pulling 4% out of that, and then say it's down 20% the next year, and you're pulling another 4% out of it. That's when you really get into a problem. So based on how much, if you have a lot of money, say you got $10 million, hey, this is not a big deal. But if you're pretty close, say you've got $800,000 and you're managing this really, really close, you have negative returns at the beginning of your retirement, you could run out of money. So the advantage of a software package is it will highlight for you your probability of success through something called like a Monte Carlo simulation, where they run 1,000 simulations of what can happen in the market, and you can see that, hey, under 10% of the time, you run out of money at age 80. You make some changes to that, and you can make that go down to maybe 5%, 4%, 3% at the time. So you can actually do little tweaks that can change your probability of success based on what the markets can do. That's why I'm a massive fan. Even though I'm an engineer and I can do spreadsheets with the best of them, I use a comprehensive software package. There are a lot of them out there. The one I recommend is down in the link below. This is Joe out.